She had no weapon. She posed no imminent threat to anyone.
We will not sleep. We will not rest until justice is served.
Ambulance duty crew respond for an adult female fallen, unable to ambulate. The Robbins residence, 11 Chester's Place. Leading to Woodstock Ambulance duty crew respond.
Today, let's go to Ocala, Florida, which is about an hour and 25 minutes northwest of Orlando. Ocala is home to over 400 thoroughbred farms and training centers and was officially named the horse capital of the world in 2007. Notable attractions include the Ocala National Forest, Silver Springs State Park, Rainbow Springs State Park, the College of Central Florida, and the World Equestrian Center. On June 2, 2023, kids in an Ocala neighborhood will be outside playing in the field by their home like they always did. On this particular day, it was just like any other day, and they were trying to have fun. But sadly, it would turn tragic. A neighbor who lived close by would get upset with the kids and allegedly shout racial slurs. On that June day, one kid accidentally would leave his tablet out in the field, and when the child went back to retrieve his tablet, the neighbor had taken it. When the young child asked for the tablet back, the lady who had it would throw a hard object allegedly at the child, and as any child would do, he went back and told his mother what the neighbor had did. The mother would walk and knock on the door, and what happened next, no one should ever experience. Adjika Owens, 35, was a mother to 4 kids. She had 3 boys and 1 girl. She was a single mother, and she made sure her kids were happy and healthy. They meant everything to her. Her kids were the center of her world, and everything she did was for them. AJ, as she was affectionately known, lived in a duplex complex with her children, so there were many neighbors. On the evening of June 2nd, after AJ went to the door of Susan Lorick, 58, AJ knocked on the door with her son standing right next to her. She wanted to see what happened and why the tablet was taken. Before she could even speak with Susan, allegedly, Susan would shoot off one shot straight through the door, and it would hit AJ straight in the chest. Her 9-year-old son was right there. Police would arrive on the scene, and sadly, AJ didn't survive her injuries.
Her children ran to my house, banging on the door, asking for us to call the police that their mother was shot.
It was around 9 in the evening Friday, kids playing across from their home on 107th Lane in Marion County, and a neighbor reportedly had an issue with where they were.
She has called the cops just for them playing. She calls them names.
On Friday, whatever happened between the neighbor and the children, it led the children's mother, Adjika Owens, to the woman's door.
Whether it be banging on the doors, banging on the walls, and threats being made. And then at that moment is then when Ms. Owens was shot through the door.
The sheriff stressing his agency has more facts to gather. Also elevating the stress of the moment, items reportedly thrown at the kids, skates according to the sheriff.
It was a pair of skates that was thrown at the children.
A family friend says Owens was going to retrieve an iPad left behind by one of the kids.
The mother went to get the iPad and you shoot her? Who does that?
She wants investigators to act.
Charge her. You know who did it. Charge her.
After interviews with neighbors and others, the sheriff's office would hold a press conference the following Monday and say that the shooting appeared to be the culmination of feuds between the neighbors. The sheriffs added that deputies had been called to the address 6 to 8 times in 2.5 years. The sheriff's office said they were unable to confirm that AJ was attempting to recover an iPad when she was unalive, but they did say that Susan had thrown a pair of skates toward AJ's children before the fatal confrontation. After the shooting, Susan was not arrested because police needed to further investigate to see if it was stand your ground or not. The story will pick up steam very fast because it is alleged that Susan, a Caucasian woman, committed a hate crime when she unalived AJ, who was an African American woman. Attorney Ben Crump will pick up the case, and in a Twitter post on Monday, Crump said the death of Adjika AJ Owens, 35, at a housing complex in Ocala on Friday evening was an unjust unaliving, and laminated that the shooter had not been arrested or charged at the time. Police did not immediately interview the kids because of what they saw that day, and they knew that they would be traumatized, and they needed the right person to interview them at the right time. Eventually, more info came out, and the kids were able to give their account of things, and it would be determined that Susan needed to be taken into custody. Susan's fate is now in the hand of the judicial system, and she is being charged with manslaughter with a firearm, culpable negligence, battery, and 2 counts of assault.
What more do we know about the sheriff's decision to file charges?
Well, Jose, we know that they were able to talk to eyewitnesses who only came forward yesterday about what happened. They also interviewed Owen's children. Finally, they had specialists do that, and they did arrest her. And Susan Lawrence was booked into jail at 4:25 this morning. Lawrence also was interviewed by detectives, and she told them she had become angry over time at Owen's children. They were playing in that field near the apartment complex. Neighbors told our Joy Reid last night that this woman has a history of antagonizing and yelling at the neighborhood children. Lawrence, according to police, according to detectives, threw a roller skate at one of Owen's children, hitting his toe. Remember that civil rights attorney Ben Crump also says she yelled racial slurs at the children. Lawrence says that she did this in self-defense. She said that Owens had previously attacked her. We have not been able to corroborate that.
It is sad that in 2023, people are still having color issues. However, I know that it is a very real problem, and sometimes it seems to be getting worse every day. I mean, if you don't like a group of people, then go live somewhere else. Don't torture kids, or anyone for that matter, just because of your personal hate. I truly wish things were different, because not every person is the same as those that they share the same skin color with. There is good and bad in all kinds of people. However, the main point is a mother of 4 was shot down like she was nothing, and gun violence is doing nothing but hurting and ruining our future. No woman should ever be gunned down the way that she was. I'm so sorry that this happened, and I hope that full justice is served now that the alleged person is caught. It's going to definitely be a long road ahead, so please comment your thoughts and prayers for this family in this difficult time, and hit that like button to share to make your people aware. And as always, remember to stay woke. Things change quickly.
Thank you, Joy, for the opportunity to speak with you. I would like to say that, yes, there was an iPad left behind. My grandson, the daughter of Ashika, did go back to retrieve it. The woman, Susan, did have it. The white woman, Susan, had it, would not give it back to my grandson. An item was thrown at him. He went home to tell his mother, as any normal child would do.
Yep.
As a parent of any child hearing such news would go to the adult home to ask what happened. She simply knocked on the door. The woman shot her through the closed door with her son, 9 years old, standing next to her.
And let me ask you about this, because the sheriff has tried to portray this as a feud, but these are little kids, you know, these are babies that are playing, which what kids are supposed to do. It is your understanding that this woman called the children racial slurs? I'm assuming I know what racial slur that you mean.
The N-word, slaves, other profanity, B-words, you name it. This was not the first incident. This has happened numerous times.
How can you say you're standing your ground when there's a closed door between you and the woman, the mom, standing outside your door with a 9-year-old child?
Joy Reid, it is asinine when they try to justify this unjustifiable killing of this mother of 4 who was killed in front of her children. I mean, it is heartbreaking on every level. And the fact that they have not arrested this killer is appalling. We know, Attorney Thomas and I talked about, if the roles were reversed, there is no way they could tell us they would not have arrested a black woman from shooting a white woman through her door. She could have called 911. She could have did 100 other things, Joy Reid, than to use deadly force. And it is unacceptable. And we can't send this message that it is okay in America to shoot black people for ringing doorbells like Ralph Yard in Kansas City, or now like AJ Owens in Ocala, Florida. The wrong message, America.
Ms. Diaz, tell me about your daughter. Tell me what she was like.
My daughter was an amazing mom. She lived for her children. She was active. She was a cheer mom. She was a football mom. She sent her children. She made sacrifices so that they could attend private school. She was a manager in the hospitality industry, the restaurant industry. Honestly,
yeah,
I don't even know how she did it. She is an amazing testament to all mothers in this world.